ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning into another episode of the Dumpster Diaries Podcast. As always, I am your host, Justin Allen. I'm here with my buddy, Moses Wartooth. And we have a special episode for you today. We have a good friend of ours coming on as a guest, the famous comedian Dakota Price. Now, before we get into that, we have to plug a couple of our sponsors and some of our affiliates. One, you need to buy another fucking card game. The link is in the description below. If you have not bought another fucking card game yet, you are missing out. I mean, Moses, like, this shit is golden.
And it's only $30.
It's only $30, man.
The cheapest and most fun damn game you can ever possibly play in your entire fucking life.
And you're not buying it from like some bullshit Amazon warehouse. You're actually buying it from Moses and I. Like, it is stored in our storage facilities. We ship it out personally.
It's got our DNA on it. Now take that for what you will. But
well, 23andMe's got all my shit, man. But and they're probably about to sell it to BlackRock, so who fucking knows?
That's fine.
No, Dakota's already laughing. Another one that we got, man, is our good buddies at Small Price Production. Man, check them out. Link is in the description. If you're in the East Texas region, man, you want to see the latest and greatest in stand-up comedy, man, bringing it out to the rural area.
Hell, these guys are the ones bringing the only damn comedy scene out.
Literally, they own a fucking monopoly.
They're the best. We got lucky on this.
And it just so happens we have the owner and creator of Small Price Productions here, and drumroll, boom,
yeah,
Dakota
dude.
Price.
Owner of Small Price Productions here, Dakota Price. We at Small Price Productions want to bring you a big production for a small price. The entire goal of this thing is that I don't believe that anybody should have to drive 3 hours to go see a comedy show, nor should you have to pay $60 for a ticket. I try and keep my tickets anywhere from $10 to $20, and I try and make it worth every dollar you spend, dude. I don't care where you are. Hit us up at Small Price Productions. Send us an email at smallpriceprod, P-R-O-D. I couldn't get the productions part for some reason, at gmail.com. And let us know if you got a venue in your town square that has 50 seats. I will sell out all 50 seats and bring in local comedians. We're going to have a good time.
I've seen it. I've seen you do it.
I love nothing more than finding somewhere that has never had a comedy show and then just like making it happen, because like as it's happening you're like, oh no way, this is actually fucking happening. This is weird. Like, so also for any of you out there, if you listen, you can just start a company. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Actually, it's not. Fuck it, we did one. CCM Media owns Dumpster Diaries Podcast. You know how easy that was?
It's very easy.
Just pay the state that couple $100, get a bullshit piece of paper, next thing you know, you're a legal entity.
Yeah, you own a company now, and then you do whatever you want with it, you know? Like, sweatshops. I have 16 sweatshops in Korea.
Please buy a ticket at Small Price Production.
I have to pay these children. No, I don't have any sweatshops yet.
Yeah, what you do, man, is like, it's great with these venues and stuff. And like, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, like, if you're just I'm going to take a shot in the leap of faith here. If you're just a comedian, man, and whether you're starting out or you're seasoned or whatever, get in touch with Dakota. Like, you can get some stage time out of this guy, man, because, I mean, he's doing it all over the place, man.
And if nothing else, you can go to one of his shows and see what everybody else is doing that's already ahead of you.
I go to every one of his shows, and I laugh my ass off, dude. Like, dude.
Dude, y'all are dick riding pretty hard. I like this. No, I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. We're very honest on this show. If it sucked, we'd tell you. We'd bring you in, corner you, and be like, your show sucks, now call me a
garbage, get out of here.
Yeah, no, that actually means a lot, dude.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man.
The fact that I got to come back from San Francisco, and like all it took, I reached out on Facebook, like silly as, you know, like reaching out on Facebook groups is, you know, like just reaching out, and I had a couple good responses. People were like, I would love, I mean, before the end of the day, it was like 100 and something comments on, you know, a Nagadoja's talk page. Like, I would love comedy here. You should ask this venue, this and that venue. And that's where, you know, that very first post is where Audra reached out to us and was like, fucking, when do you want to meet? Let's figure this out.
And who is Audra?
Audra, she's one of the owners of the Yellow Rose Canyon in Mount Enterprise. That's where we do our shows every month right now. They are my monthly venue. They are the greatest venue that I have. They're so cool. There's cabins for rent out there. They do big motorcycle events. It's just it's an RV park and event center. If you have the time, go check out yellowrosecanyon.com. They have all their events posted, but they also have cabins for rent. And they have 2 swimming ponds, 3 stages. They have a wall of death, a full-size racetrack.
Wow, dude.
You can tent camp. You can bring in RV. There's RV hookups.
It's like as soon as you go onto those grounds, man, you're just in a whole other world, man. It's like anything goes out there.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about East Texas. You can get a spot on land and do whatever the fuck you want.
You managed to make like basically a comedy club out there.
Dude, that's really so much. them, dude. Like they were so willing to put into it, you know. Like we negotiated a deal super fair, like monthly show, and then it was towards the end of last year that she reached out to me and was like, how serious are you about doing these shows? And I was like, dude, I'm as down as y'all are, and they built that like the backdrop for the stage, and I feel like that's really what set it off. Like after that, like like the stage, we used to have just some banners up behind there, but now that they put that fucking fake brick wall with the with the cool ass the neon, the comedy barn, like it feels like the whole experience now. Like,
dude, it's cool, man, and like I know like from where we're at, it's a little bit of drive for Moses and I, but dude, we go out there, we make it out there to every show that we can, and dude. The talent you have, I mean, Dakota, you have comedians all the way from Shreveport, Houston,
West
Dallas,
Texas.
Austin, coming all over. And you have guys who ran circuits, and we'll get on your history in a minute, but like basically the story of Dakota, where you came from. But I just want to like touch on it real quick, man. Like you have crazy talent running through here.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that everyone complains about where we live is there's nothing to fucking do.
Dude, come see a comedy show.
Like, for real. Like,
I tell everybody all the time, I drop it on people in Dollar General. I'm like, it looks like you fucking hate your day right now, dude. You want to come laugh later, bro? You want to come be funny?
We discovered, because we've been doing the podcast for coming up on 2 years now. So when we discovered you and what you were doing, we were like, oh, that lines right up with what we do. I was like, yo, let's support these guys, man. And then so we plug your stuff on every single episode that we do, man. Like, try to bring something to the community. I
appreciate that. I should be more active on social media. It's one of the
I don't want to give away who does our social media, but I fucking hate that shit.
It's
so
hard.
Take that for what it's
very it's hard to do. But before I forget, that talent that you're speaking of, man, like, I didn't even realize, I just had the last two guys, Cody Aaron Myers and Roderick McDaniel, my last two headliners.
Met both of them. And by the way, also just a quick plug, Roderick McDaniel is a paid regular at Joe Rogan's Mothership Comedy Club.
I was going to say that, but fuck you. No, it's all good. It's all good.
I'll do that.
You just fucking took my thunder, you fucking dickhead.
Now I'm trying to figure out what to say now.
I ate pancakes with him, dude. Did you fucking eat pancakes with him?
No, but you guys invited me, and that was more than enough.
It was a good time.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a 45-minute drive ahead of me.
I didn't eat pancakes. I ate a fucking...
And I may or may not have been extremely intoxicated.
That was a good time.
My girlfriend might have had to drive me home. So, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, dude. So shout out to Roderick. Shout out to fucking Cody. Shout out to Glenn Stewart.
Glenn Stewart, dude. Hilarious.
Let's fucking hope he gets this special release. You need, fucking, like, everybody. If you're not following those people I just mentioned, follow them.
So we talked to Roderick McDaniel, and he wants to come on the show, but it's probably going to be a Zoom thing.
Yeah.
Cody wants to do it next time he's coming through your venues, your shows. He wants to do it in person, but Glenn, I want to get on.
Glenn's one you need on.
Yeah, Glenn is hilarious, and he's got a surprise for anyone who listens to his.
Yeah, he's a fountain of knowledge. He's a wise young man. Yeah. I love Glenn.
Yeah, he's a great dude, man. He's funny as hell, dude.
I love it, man. I love comedy. I love getting to do this shit. So thank y'all for having me on.
Dumpster Diaries, man, dude. We're
I haven't podcasted in a minute. The last podcast I've been doing are those bullshit lives I've been doing. Those are fun though.
Yeah.
Just
unhinged. Well, we'll tell you like we tell everyone else, man. Like it's our show, but it's your episode, so you can share it, clip it. You can make us look like good guys or bad guys, whatever you want to do, man.
Thanks. The last time I did like a somebody else's podcast was I did Ryan Sickler's Honeydew with Y'all.
Oh no shit. Really?
Yeah, I have go subscribe to Ryan Sickler's Patreon and Honeydew with Y'all. So maybe Ryan Sickler will see this and want me to open for him. Ryan, I actually met him at Cobb's Comedy Club.
Oh yeah.
And I gave him a big ass joint that was like fucking keef infused. Like, I mean, like it was like a $45 joint, dude. It was a king roll. It was some crazy shit.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I gave it to him, and I played it so cool when I met him in the green room because I wasn't supposed to like even really be in there.
Yeah,
but like one of my
let's
comic
talk to these people.
one of my comic friends that we were doing the show after Ryan's, and I just got to the green room early, and he was still in there, and he was chopping it up with everybody. I played it so cool because I was a big fan of his.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I was like, I'm not gonna let him know how big of a fan. I'm just gonna like dap him up.
Yeah.
Here, you want some weed? Because I was giving out weed to everybody.
Yeah, you gotta play it cool, man.
Yeah, you know, I worked for a dispensary at the time in a legal state, I was just, you know, handing out joints to everybody, and
It's a good way to meet friends.
He left, right, and I played it cool. I didn't be weird or anything. And then he came back because he like left something there or like had to go to the restroom. And like as he was walking out, I was like, "Hey man, I just want to let you know I'm a really big fan. I like the podcast."
Yeah, just like fanboy.
And he was like, "Oh, that's awesome." I was like, "Man, I've always wanted to tell my story on it." And he was like, "Yeah, email the podcast." I was like, "I already did." And here's the cool thing. He straight up was like, and also like all my friends in the green room were clowning me at that point because you know, like fucking, they were like, "Oh, you sent a fucking email, dude," and
oh, you loser.
They're all fucking clowning me.
Going straight to the trash. No one's ever gonna read it.
Yeah, but he's like, "I'll tell Kirsten to look at that," and I was like, "Okay," and then they emailed me less than a week later.
Yeah.
And then fucking I got to do his podcast.
Dude, sometimes it's as simple as just shooting your shot, man.
Dude, it was so kind. It was so fun doing the podcast with him. So I love podcasting. Just getting to talk with people. Like, I've never met this guy in my fucking life, dude. Now I'm about to trauma dump on him. I'm gonna tell him everything.
That's what I'm here for, man.
But shit, man, let's get on. Like, all right, I want to get on to the story. Like,
the story of Dakota Price.
Dakota Price,
Yes.
man. Where does it start, man? Because I know a little bit about this, ladies and gentlemen. I've known Dakota for a little while, so I don't want to do any spoilers.
I'm 28 years young now.
Okay.
Let me think. So, I trauma dump on people a lot, like my coworkers.
Yeah,
and I tell them parts of my life, and I literally have had like some of these younger kids I work with be like, I don't. Like, how have you done all that? Like, you're only 28. I was like, and you live hard and fast, you know?
No, you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah. Well, when I was born in New Mexico. I was born in Carlsbad, New Mexico, home of the Carlsbad Caverns.
I was going to say, why does that sound familiar?
Yeah, the Carlsbad Caverns. Yeah. It's south of Roswell, New Mexico, where the aliens are from. But I grew up about 30 minutes from there in near a town called Artesia. But I lived in this little village about 5-10 miles outside of town in the desert called Riverside because we were, right next to a river.
Yeah.
But what all Riverside was a couple of trailers, and like my grandma, my great grandma, she had this little plot of land that all my family lived on, my dad's side. Like my great grandma and her husband, my great grandma lived there. My dad's mom and my grandpa, they had 3 trailers in this little like big plot of land.
Little community, man.
Yeah, and that's where I grew up, was like right down the street from that. My dad bought a trailer and bought a little small, real small, like a quarter, not even a quarter acre, but. I grew up in a trailer in Riverside, New Mexico. My dad worked in the oil field. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. I've talked a lot about my mom on podcasts and stuff. I grew up just weird. Like, did you meet my dad? Like,
no, I didn't get a chance to meet him. Man.
My dad, yesterday, my parents are mythical creatures. Like, I'm not trying to be like fucking like I grew up thinking my dad was Aquaman and my mom was like a hippie fairy person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mom had more tattoos than me, bro. Like, my parents were cool as shit. Yeah. Like, they were young. My mom had me when she was like 20. And my dad was 23, 24.
It's similar here, man. My mom had me when she was 19, I believe.
Yeah. So like, my parents were young, but my dad, he never graduated high school. Like, he made it all the way through his senior year and was half a credit short, and the principal wouldn't let him graduate, so he chased the principal out of the school. Literally trying to kill this bitch.
I mean, like one credit or half
a credit,
dude.
Yeah,
man. You can't
just
cut him some slack.
You got like a pencil and eraser. You can't just turn that 1 into a 2.
Yeah,
there's damn sure no digital documents.
It's like, to go back even further. It's like my dad, his parents were. My grandpa was a Vietnam War veteran with severe PTSD when he first came back. My grandma, like, she just wanted a bunch of kids, so she had my dad and then my Aunt Brandy. It started with Christy, Shay, my dad, my Aunt Brandy. All right, so
I thought you were about to go on some Goodwill Hunting.
No,
where he's like, I got 12 brothers.
I got 12 brothers. No, only 4, you know.
Timmy,
But my dad was like the
Sorry,
only
come
boy of all these girls, you know.
Yeah.
So my Vietnam War vet grandpa was very fucking hard on my dad and all of his kids, and they come from farmers and ranchers and shit. So it's like lots of hard fucking work in the desert of New Mexico and Levelland, you know.
That'll
my grandpa was a dick.
Put some hide on your ass, dude.
Yeah, my dad told me that my grandpa didn't tell him he loved him until my dad was like a grown man. You know, like my dad. But like the cool thing is when my dad and my grandpa were old and like we moved to Texas, like my dad and my grandpa were best friends. It was awesome to get to see them be best friends for the last couple of years of my grandpa's life.
It's good,
dude.
man.
It took that time, and I'm sure you probably mellowed out.
So cool.
My dad
dude.
did the same shit.
Yeah. Well, like when my dad was 14, I think my dad was 14, and you know he was fucking up, trying to smoke pot, drink beers, be cool. You know, he had a truck and stuff. My dad had a job full time since he was 11 years old. You know, working on farms and stuff. But when he was 14, my grandpa told him, he's like, if you can't follow my rules, then you can get the fuck out. So my dad was like, fuck you, I'm out.
I'm done.
Yeah, you know, my dad has the classic story. If he got his ear pierced, and my grandpa fucking ripped it out of his damn ear, you know, like.
Oh God.
But no, it was cool. Like my dad like just grew up fucking tough, and he went to high school and almost graduated by working a full-time job and having his own place and his own car that he took two trucks that didn't run, put them together, made one truck. He had a truck.
Yeah.
like my dad is like the last generation of like good old boys.
Do
dude.
make a right. Let's do this shit.
He's a mechanical genius, dude. Like my dad is like fucking last night. I saw him put an A-frame, like a huge fucking, like probably 3/4 of a ton A-frame onto a trailer to where there was like only like this room of error on like either. Yeah, like just with a fucking forklift and this dude hanging from a it was a fucking 11 o'clock at night last night, and there was no lights on. They were doing it in the dark.
Just blindly doing
I was
that
like,
shit.
what the fuck is happening?
That's what I'm talking about.
But
Fuck
so.
yeah.
My dad grew up pretty hard, you know, and my mom, she was my grandma fucking didn't know how to take care of her. She was the youngest of all these kids my grandma had, and my mom had mental health issues like bipolar disorder. Was telling my grandma like, I hear dead people in the walls, and, you know, like crazy shit. My grandma was like, and then, like sent her to a mental hospital. You know,
talk to somebody.
Yeah, like my mom spent like part of her childhood like locked up in mental hospitals, and like she got grounded for a whole summer, and so she got a guitar and fucking learned how to play guitar and sing. And like, you know, my mom's side of the family are all musical. Like they all play instruments. Like at their house, we would listen to them play old country songs and Bible songs and fucking. It was like a competition between my mom and her sisters, like who's harmonizing better and shit. Like, you know, like it was a musical family. My uncle played the piano, but so like I had that side of my mom's family, which was like real like white and Native American, which was kind of strange. Like my family, like New Mexico, like oil field people, like you know, like they were lower middle class, but like acted bougie, you know.
Because you're also you're literally 50% Native American.
Yeah, I have two different native like tribe cards, like like I'm
Because when you tell me that, I never believe it.
Yeah, dude, I got it fucking proof, dude. If you saw my grandma and like her brothers and like my like their family, like oh my god, dude, they're all dark-skinned Native American people. Can't grow facial hair.
OG.
Like fucking
Killers of the Flower Moon shit going on here, dude.
Like I know some story. Like I have family that was on the Trail of Tears. I had family that were like my dad's family. Like there was like war chiefs and shit in my dad's family that were.
That's cool. At least you have a history. Dude, outside of my grandparents,
so
dust in the wind, dude.
Yeah,
same. Yeah.
So like all that being said, you know, like was just, you know, if you want to know about me, it's like it really just comes from my parents. Like my parents were just the coolest people, man.
Just wild, man. Just
yeah,
cool,
like
man.
they were like the two most in love people. Like I saw what love was because my mom and dad like really loved each other. They were together my whole life until my mom passed away.
Damn, that's rare.
You know, like dude, like and like it's crazy. Like they survived motorcycle wrecks together. Like my like
it's like a whole never definition of like ride or die.
No shit, man.
So, like, so until I was like 4 years old, my dad worked the oil field, you know, and he was fucking baller oil field guy, you know, and he also has a history of dealing drugs, and he used to be.
I know.
My dad had a 1972 Corvette Stingray that he'd drive to Mexico, pick up some packages, make a drive through Texas, come back to New Mexico, you know, like. talking, calling my mom from a payphone like, honey, I ain't slept in days. And my mom's like, baby, please come home. He's like, I'll be home when the sun rises.
The road's calling.
It's the
way of the, it's the way of the road.
way of the road. Yeah, fucking geetered up, fucking, gone with the wind, But both of my
These
parents.
packages aren't delivering themselves.
Disclaimer: both of my parents loved methamphetamines. My mom's dead; she can't say much about me saying it. But fucking, she used to split my Adderall script with me. Okay, come on.
Yeah, I get it.
My dad. Pretty sure he still loves amphetamines. He has a plane in his back. I'm kidding. My dad doesn't. He doesn't do drugs anymore. But
We don't talk about it.
he does have a plane that he just bought too, which is cool. It's like one of those ultralights.
Yeah.
Like it's a boat and a plane. Anyway, we're gonna see what happens.
I wonder what that could be used for.
But so until I was 4, he was working oil field, doing all that crazy mess, and then he went to school in California. He stayed with his aunt, my great aunt, so it was his mom's sister.
Yeah.
We stayed with my Aunt Debbie and her wife, Francoise. This is my Aunt Frankie. So they were my lesbian aunts,
Dog, this story just keeps getting more twisted.
We went and lived with
Another cog.
and we went to live with them on like a farm outside of LA, like near Compton, like a pig farm. Right?
None of this is made up.
So wait, how old were you when you moved?
I was about 4 years old.
Okay,
I was about 4 years old when I moved to California.
Okay.
And we were staying.
We're
My
only
Aunt
4
Debbie.
years deep.
Yeah.
And we're already here.
Yeah, Jesus.
My Aunt Debbie, who is my dad's aunt, so she's my great aunt. She was like in her 40s at the time, probably, like the same age as a little younger than my dad's mom. So like, we were staying out there with her and her wife Francoise, who was like my mom's age, who was like 20.
Damn.
And my Aunt Debbie was in her 40s, My Aunt Debbie also looks like John Denver. And Francoise, my aunt, she looked like a French boy. She looked like a French boy. And to the play. She played guitar too, so like I told her that a few years ago, and she was like, "Fuck you, dude. I hate John Denver." I was like, "I bet you do. I bet you do fucking hate John Denver." But we lived with them while my dad went to dive school. Because he always wanted to go to space, apparently.
God
but
damn it, dude.
they don't let felons in space. So
They let him underwater.
They let him underwater, dude. So he went and became. He went to for underwater welding school, deep sea saturation diving. So he went to dive school for 2 years. And it was like on the news for like TV because like they were doing like a interview of like the school and showing off the divers and stuff.
Yeah.
And they had my dad do like a short interview, and then he had to do a thing, and the thing was he had to show the technique of how to take your helmet off underwater and clear it of water and put it back on.
Yeah.
And he was so nervous with this news camera guy like fucking holding the microphone up to him, and he's like, "So I'm gonna take my helmet off underwater." And they're like, "You're gonna take your helmet off underwater?" Yeah, Michael, how do you do that? And he's like, "You gotta hold your breath for like 5 minutes." Yep. Yeah, he was so nervous, and they're like, "You're gonna do that?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll do that. Demonstrate it." And he
Jesus.
shows how to fucking clear your helmet. But
I went to go see that new Woody Harrelson movie, Last Breath, dude. And
that's what my dad did.
Bro, that was giving me fucking anxiety.
Dude, that is one of the most highly paying but yet dangerous fucking jobs you can do.
Dude, that's probably the only movie in the last year I've seen in theaters. That and Warfare that just put me on the edge of my seat. Like, what the fuck is gonna happen next, dude? Like, there's no way you couldn't. Dude, I couldn't sit in the tank getting ready to go down there. Let's be down there dealing with that shit. Are you shitting me?
I could go on for hours about dad and his diving shit because that was 12 years of my life. Because once we came back from California, we moved right back to that house we lived in Riverside, right? Mm-hmm. That same time, it was a tiny single wide trailer that when the fucking 60-mile-an-hour winds blew into Mexico, the walls caved in. You know what I'm saying? Like that, we lived in a trailer.
Been there.
And then when my dad went offshore for the first time, like within like 2 years, I mean, we had a big fabricated home. Like they put one of those big fucking, ones you see on the lots.
Pop-up homes kind of thing.
Yeah, but like it was a big ass fucking, how many bedrooms? It was a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. Yeah. Fucking 2 living rooms. Big ass fucking house.
Yeah, so you're in a castle with this fucking.
So you went from single wide trailer to a McMansion.
Yeah, dude.
Right on.
It was gangster. Dude.
Yeah,
white trash balling.
Hell yeah, dude.
And then we all of a sudden started getting 4-wheelers and fucking boats. Like no, my dad fucking. I mean, he was making like $500,000 a year, like minimum.
Jesus Christ.
Like there was a year that he was gone for like 9 months out of the year, he was gone. I think that's when he was like working in Trinidad, like doing shit out there. But he was gone for like literally 9 months out of the year, and he spent 70% of it underwater.
Damn.
Like fucking, and anyway, he made like right under $1 million in 1 year. This being said, my dad lives on Social Security right now, is disabled, and no 401k and everything because of the oil field crash and all that. But like my dad, total days spent underneath the ocean, I think is somewhere like 3,000 days.
Jesus.
3,500.
That's got to be up there.
That's
at a record.
insane.
Like,
Yeah,
that's got to be some kind of record.
That's
man.
It's
insane.
against, I'm pretty sure, like a lot of rules.
Yeah, I think so.
They told him, like, Michael, you're not supposed to keep diving. And he was like, I'm going to keep diving.
Dude, your dad was literally like Woody Harrelson in that movie.
Yeah, he got buried alive on the floor, the floor of the Gulf of Mexico. Like, he was like 500 feet down, was digging a hole, and then the hole caved in and like crumbled around him.
No, dude.
And then his bell partner had to like, he was stuck in like the fetal position with his like oxygen like hose, barely
poking
not
out of the dirt.
poking out of the dirt,
God.
and his bell partner had like dig him out for like 9 hours. Like him and his bell partner Jason Q-Ball,
Dude.
good family friend.
I
Could you imagine?
Family after that for sure.
The fucking balls you have to have, dude.
Dude, imagine what was going through his mind.
He-
Probably his life.
He told me right now. He said, "Missy's gonna be mad at me." That was the first thing he thought. Was that my mom was gonna be mad at him.
Dying? You know? Yeah, dude.
I told her I'd come home.
Jesus
That was literally
Christ, dude.
every time. My dad had a couple of close calls. Like he got bent twice. The bends.
Mhm.
He got drugged to surface. Like something. He was sending a chute up and it caught his hose, and he went from like on bottom to where he could see the propeller.
Ooh.
And here's the thing, you know what? If you rise up too fast, you embolize.
Yeah.
Your insides become outside.
Yeah, all those
And
gases expand, and
he told this story on one of the
Big problem.
podcasts that I did on the radio. But he said it hooked him, and then he just starts going up, and he's just trying to unhook his hose, and he's thinking, all right, if I keep going farther, I'm gonna die. Like I have to get unhooked, or
Yeah.
I'm gonna die. And he's like, oh, Missy's gonna be mad at me. Oh fuck.
yeah,
In another 50 feet, I'm going to lose consciousness.
Yeah.
You know, like all that shit, all of his training shit's
yeah.
like run through his head. And he's just trying to get his oxygen hose unhooked. And he says you can see the propeller of the ship, And then all of a sudden, like right at like the make it or break it point, like if he goes any farther, like he's already like, if I go any farther, I will be dead.
like
But
inside of 10 feet, like this is over.
and it's also like, I don't know how fucked up I already am.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
from what just, like.
Dude, talk
And-
about crying like a bitch.
Dude.
That's exactly what I would be doing. I'd be like, fuck it. I wouldn't even be unhooking shit. I would just be making peace.
Just be signing the right one
Whatever
already.
God that would listen, dude.
Yeah.
Like, just be like, I'm done with this. This is not my calling.
Last second thing unhooks, starts floating back down. Dude.
Dude, are you a religious guy at all?
No, I don't know, man. Like, I believe that fucking everything happens for a reason. I know that.
Yeah.
Like, I believe in a little bit of destiny. I believe that we have control of a lot of things, but
I'll
like,
tell you that, man. If I had an experience like that, that'd turn me into a fucking believer real
Dude.
goddamn quick. That's all I'm saying,
So,
dude.
you don't want to know about me? I'll tell you about my dad. Like that dude is the guy that like he's like one of my heroes.
Dude,
And,
we're
like,
gonna have you back on like multiple shows, man.
Yeah.
Like, we got a lot of stories we can
So-
go through. But let's get back onto Dakota, man.
Yeah,
So-
me. So I grew up with all that shit being
Yeah.
said.
So where do you discover comedy, man? Like, and because
So-
I want to get on the story how you brought it to East Texas, bringing it out here,
Yeah.
for us to enjoy, man.
Well, I grew up listening to the Blue Collar Comedy Tour and Adam Sandler CDs.
Yeah,
With
right
my
on.
dad
Yeah.
riding back roads.
Yeah.
And drinking beers with dad as a child. And then as I got older, I always just liked comedy. Like I was a TV kid. Like when my dad was gone, I was a mama's boy. I loved TV. I
very
remember
similar upbringings.
Yeah.
With that.
bag of
I mean, my
chips.
dad was-
I'm like a bag of chips, TV. I'm in. Like let's go. Like and
my dad wasn't like however many thousands of feet underwater, But,
Yeah.
he was out working a lot, so I was primarily raised by my mom.
Yeah.
And so it was like literally like mom wasn't there. It's TV.
Yeah. I love TV, man. I
Best
still do.
babysitter.
Yeah, and then I
love
remember,
TV.
at least for me, man, like watching like comedy, like coming up with that George Carlin.
Oh,
specials
yeah.
on HBO. I didn't mean to cut you off, man. I just want to.
No, no,
that's
that's-
similar, dude. Like,
I fucking love.
so I'm a
George
huge
Carlin.
to this day. I'm a huge George Carlin fan.
That's like
Because he was the first comedian I ever saw.
Yeah. Well, what network did you have growing up? Dish or
Dish?
Yeah, Dish Network. They had 107 Comedy Central.
Yes.
And then if you had the upgraded package, you could get HBO, and you could watch the HBO specials.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah, dude.
My HBOs were just after 9 p.m. That was when I wanted to watch HBO.
Oh,
Got the skin of that
yeah,
shit.
dude.
Taxi Cab Confessions, you know.
Remote in the
was
left
wild.
hand.
Yes,
Remote in the
yes.
left hand. On recall.
Auto Recall,
On
Cartoon
auto-
Network.
Dude, there's a whole generation of people who have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, shit.
You're not
I
watching
think-
this show.
You ever tried to jerk off in the living room at your family's house? Like, take these off now. Let me connect with the audience. Let me that's
Dude.
Yeah,
All right, man.
we're the last generation to have done that shit.
Dude, yeah, fucking for sure.
Actually,
dude.
we're the only generation. We were born in that one time period. But like,
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
You want to get down to it.
that's pretty awesome.
So you start watching comedy on TV, man.
Yeah, I grew up just
And-
loving comedy, and like my grandma always told me I'd be a killer or a serial killer or a comedian. That's what she always told me.
You know, from my experience of like dealing with comedians, man, it is a fine line to walk, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, like really.
Only comedians call it I just killed tonight when they get off stage.
Yeah.
You know,
That is true.
You know what I'm saying?
That is
I murdered them.
Yeah. Just like
Things comedians say. Like, so it's not.
a lot of unwell people in that scene, man.
Yeah, gotta love it.
I mean, it's great shows.
Yeah,
you
dude.
know, just
You know,
A lot of sick
we're just
people.
capitalizing on mental illness.
comedy
you
crime
know?
comes at a price.
Yeah.
yeah, you know, it's like what do they say? The difference between a comedy and tragedy is just time.
Well, I was a nerdy fat kid, right? I was an
Well, that's right.
athletic.
You were also like really fat.
Yeah, growing up, like I was 11 years old, I was 280 pounds and 6'2".
Damn. At 11?
At 11.
Holy
dude.
shit.
Fuck,
Well,
dude, you should
I
play
can't-
football.
and here's the
I was
thing.
gonna say I don't think
That's
anyone's
like-
gonna bully you.
So
Oh, shit.
I moved around a bit after that because like I finished 4th grade in New Mexico, and all of a sudden my dad was like, "We're moving to Texas," and I was like,
Out of
"What the
nowhere.
fuck?" Like all of my mom's family's here in New Mexico, and he's like, "Nah, me and my the Prices, like my dad's parents and all my cousins that my grandparents were raising because they were taken away from my dad's sisters.
Yeah.
You know, we moved from New Mexico because it was very bad and crime ridden apparently,
Yeah.
and then moved to Hemphill, Texas. We spent like a gap year in Daresette, Texas, which is population 500 town in the middle of the
I was
Panhandle.
gonna say as soon as you said it, I was like, I have no idea what
It's
you're talking
literally
about.
it's the smallest town ever, and
Texas is
it's
a
like
big
an
state,
old
guys.
depression town, like from the 20, you know, like
Yeah.
right there on the border of Oklahoma and the Panhandle. That's where I saw two tornadoes one time, like literally at the same time, 2 tornadoes.
But yeah, dude, it's time to pack our shit.
Yeah.
We ain't doing
But
no Twister bullshit.
I moved
Like,
from,
just
the
fucking-
desert to Hemphill, Texas, which is, you know, if you know where that is, it's
Yeah.
about an hour,
Yeah.
an hour from here. And then I moved to a new school, not knowing anybody at 11 years old with a dad that's gone all the time, a mom, you know, that's emotional and not very mentally stable with my little sister. And, dude, I just was acting out all the time as a kid. Like, I fucking said, fuck school, dyed my hair black, started listening to My Chemical
Paint
Romance.
fingernails and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Everything my dad was like, no! And I was like,
I'll raise the fucking emo.
Oh, fuck!
He's gay!
It's worse than being gay.
My dad actually thought I was gay until he like caught me one morning like with a girl that I had like stay the night over in my room, and like he opened the door and he was just like he saw it,
Oh, thank God.
and then like shut the door and I was like, all right, Dakota, we'll be back later. I was like, did I just have it right now? Anyway, he
A
fist
sigh
bumped,
of relief from that man.
fist bumped me the next day because she was
Yeah.
hot, you know, it's cool.
Yeah, I'll tell you a true story if you want to get on like mine or whatever.
Yeah.
So like there was always my dad was always like paranoid of like me being gay, right? And, like, I'm
It's
talking
a father's worst fear,
I'm
right?
talking like I'm a young kid, like you know, like I'm like 10, 11, 12, 13, shit like that, right? Getting early teenage years, and but my parents were like religious growing up.
Oh no.
So, so it was like this whole, you better not be gay, but anytime I got caught with like a Playboy magazine or something like that, it was like ass beat city and like, you cannot do that. So it was a very confusing time in my household because it was like, I knew being gay was wrong, but I also felt like being attracted to women was wrong. So I was very fucking confused, and so I became a very rebellious teenager because I was straight, and then I was just chasing ass and drinking beer and doing whatever I needed to do to get more attention from ladies.
Yeah, dude. I know this guy had a bad emo phase, dude.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just now getting out of it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know,
a little delayed reaction.
Yeah. No, dude, like I dig your. I want sleeves so bad. I just have all these things. I'll piece them together eventually.
Yeah, just piece them together, man.
Most
That's what I
like
did.
entire body is like everything but your face, right?
Take your shirt off
Face
right
and
now,
back.
bro. Let me see it. Oh my god, I was not expecting that much hair. Holy shit!
It doesn't just stop at the face, man.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was hot and weird at the same time. I
Hey,
liked
that's
it.
what I go for.
Oh, dude, imagine hugging you bare chest. Oh, that would feel weird.
Man,
But
it's like a soft pillow, man.
that's what I was thinking. I
It's
was like, it'd be good and bad.
Yeah,
Like,
it
fuck
is.
yeah.
Let me just say, if we're ever stranded in the cold, I can keep you warm.
I'm so dude, that's good. I like that.
Fuck yeah. All right, man. So you end up in Hemp Hill.
Yeah, and I was just being really rebellious, and
Yeah.
I always grew up performing, like playing guitar, like talent show shit, like
Yeah.
singing. Like I like being the center of attention.
Hmm?
Sure.
Like
as every comedian I've ever met.
yeah, like
does.
if you can't tell right now, I'm hogging everything. Yeah,
No, you're good.
Said it was my episode.
You're good.
It's my.
Hey, that's the point of the show, man.
It's my episode. I can cry.
Dude,
if I
I'm just
want
glad you feel comfortable, man. Because we have episodes that have never aired because it's just like people just don't feel comfortable, man. Like they're like, yeah,
dude.
I got this, and then the lights, camera, action,
Hostage.
hostage. Like, yeah, dude. It's just like, read this right here, you know.
No,
Today, June 27th, 8:45.
This isn't my first rodeo.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to have you on.
I'm
I
a
mean, for
fucking.
plethora of reasons, but-
I'm a professional.
Seasoned
goddamn
veteran
it.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Been down this road a few
that's another thing. Like, you just gotta fake it till you make it, dude. You, like, if you're out here like I'm trying to be this, you're never going to be that thing. You have to say, I am a comic. I am a podcast. You know, whatever it is. Like you own that thing. Don't say that I'm trying to be, because
And
if you say that, you're always going to be.
Well, it's also like when you talk about the comedy and the podcasting world too, man. Like it's so cutthroat, but like there's not a lot of longevity in it. Like most people who try it and attempt it, within the first 3 months, they're out.
yeah.
You know, it's almost like a waiting game, really. Like, can you stick around long enough?
It is. Are you
Just, like-
committed enough to actually follow through with your original fucking plan?
So we're just hoping that all the other podcasters die, and then Joe Rogan's fan base just runs to us after he just like.
He's assassinated by the Democratic administration.
Yeah, but no, it really is a thing, man. So.
Yeah, he's gonna get fucking assassinated by a trans athlete.
Yeah. For
We're
sure.
talking about me.
Shit.
No. Beat him to death.
What do you mean men can't be in women's sports, motherfucker?
I kneel to every national anthem.
It would be like, actually, would it be ironic, dude? Almost poetic.
It would be
if
pretty-
it was a bow and arrow.
Oh, yes.
Oh shit! Hunted him like the elk. You know that he all right, you versus one naked Joe Rogan in the wild. Like,
There we go.
All right, that's fuck the gorilla, dude. I want to see how if I could hunt Joe Rogan.
One naked Joe Rogan. All you get is a bow and an arrow.
All he's got is a
Yeah.
DMT pin.
He wins. Ready, set, and go.
Yeah.
Shit.
I'd fucking pay money to see that shit.
Everyone would, man. That's a pay-per-view event waiting to happen.
Yeah, you thought that fucking Mayweather fight did good on the last one.
Right.
No, you got something else coming.
So.
But yeah, man, so you get dragged all the way out here, man, to good old East Texas.
Yeah, and I went to school at a small school, and I had a good time. And fucking like on the cool, I actually met my first friends that were like became lifelong friends. I got to see some of them like last night, you know, at my 10-year high school reunion.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Boy, that time
Got drunk
flies.
at the 10-year reunion, dude. It was lit. Okay. They let me have a microphone. I actually did they were like, do some stand up, and I like from a lawn chair did fucking 10 minutes, and it crushed. It was awesome.
Really?
It was dude, I was like, can y'all shut the fuck up for like 5 minutes and listen?
Dude, I would be having a fucking panic attack trying to do stand up comedy at a high school reunion from a fucking lawn chair.
Yeah, dude. All the homies, man. No, it was cool. It was a good time. I had to ask my lady afterwards. I was like, was that corny? And she was like, no. But it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
How many people were in your graduating class?
76. 76 people. We were a close class,
We're
you know.
close to what we
Yeah,
did.
ours was like 107.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
I think
nice.
like 25, 26 people showed up last night. So, you know, we had a good time.
Hey, better than ours. Ours
Hey,
was
we know.
scheduled and just straight up never even fucking happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Remember that? There
Moses
was.
and I graduated same year, same high school.
Yeah.
We had the party at one of our classmates' family's lake house, dude, and it was like a fucking 2-story like giant lake house with like multiple bedrooms and bathrooms and like.
You know so many cool people.
I know, bro. I'm a cool guy, bro.
We're out here fighting for our fucking lives in the streets. You know, we're just hanging out in the cabins and shit.
Well, back when I
Lake
used to,
houses.
when I was a hooligan, young kid, still being angsty and stuff, like I got really into drugs and like I started selling drugs. You know, I was a criminal for a very long time. Like my parents were very like, as long as you have good grades, we don't care what you do, and I abused the shit out of that.
Took that to a whole nother level.
Like I got on Adderall, got great grades, and then like I told my mom, I was like, I need to help. Well, what actually happened? I took 2 Adderall my friend gave me on the bus before school one day, and I had the best day of school ever. I went home that day.
I'm sure you fucking did, dude.
I got written up in class for rapping. I couldn't stop freestyle rapping. Yeah, dude, I was a fucking like.
But you retained everything you learned that day.
Dude,
Sure.
it was such a good day. But I went home that night and I told my mom, I was like, hey mom, don't be mad. But my friend, she gave me these pills. They were blue. They were called Adderall. I took 2 of them. I had a great day at school. In fact, I'm going to go clean my room. I already did the dishes.
Literally cracked out.
And my mom was like, oh, yeah, we'll take you to the doctor tomorrow. We'll see if we can get you on Adderall. And I was like, bet. And then we fucking went to the doctor the next day. And then I got on Adderall. And then my mom was like, this is the way it's going to work. I get half of all your pills. And I was like, oh, deal. And
Dude,
then,
at least, you know, for what it's worth, man, at least she was fucking straight up and honest.
yeah, dude, it was
You know?
True, there was. Yeah, you didn't have to come home and look like what happened to pills.
Dude,
Maybe not.
one time, this was an unspoken thing. I got to talk to her about it years later. But one time when I was like a freshman in high school, I had some cocaine like in my drawer next to my
Naturally,
bed.
what a 14-year-old has.
Yeah. I had some cocaine, probably a gram and a half, in a bag in my drawer next to my bed, like. And my mom would go like search my room for weed and just take some sometimes. So like anyway, while I was at school one day, what happened was I got picked up by the cops for some granules of weed, and then like my mom picked me up from the station, and she was like that. Then after that she was like, all right, here's the rules. If you have weed and I don't, that's a problem. So whatever. Well, Dad was not at home. Whatever, dude.
Do you think Looking back, do you think it's like she had her own issues that she was aware of, but then she knew that you were just going to be like this rowdy teenager, so it was better for her to be a part of your life in that way than...
Very much so. I thinking back on it now, like she just wanted to connect to me, and she didn't know how to. Like she didn't know how to teach me about anxiety or my feelings or anything, because she was, very mentally ill herself, and she used substances to cope with all of her things. So my mom was on every medication on the book, dude. She was one of the first 500 people to ever get Valium. Think about that. That's fun to think about. She was in the controlled. She was in the controlled study group. All right, dude.
Yeah, no shit.
At 14. Fuck it.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, my mom's cool like that, bro. She was taking drugs before it was cool. But
sounds like against her will.
In a lab underground
so,
somewhere.
Anyway, I was fucking off, with pot and dealing drugs, and I didn't think about any sort of future for teenage years. I was just like self-destruct. I'm gonna be dead by 21.
Yep.
I literally made it a goal. I was like, I'm gonna try every drug, and I fucking did. Literally one time, I got put on probation for something, and then I had to take a drug test, and I failed for every drug on the 12-panel drug test. Facts.
This guy, they think the test.
I was gonna say
no. I swear to God, no. She. I remember her when I peed it, I handed it to her, and she looked at it. She left the room, had to talk to somebody, had them look at it, and they were like, "I've never seen this before. This is amazing."
It's usually 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Like,
this
holy
all
shit,
of them.
where'd you even get all these?
is he fucking breathing right now?
Yeah, but they give you one freebie. I passed all my drug tests after that.
You just had to go for gold.
I would still. If
I was supposed
you,
to pass this, right?
Yeah, well, before this podcast comes out, if I was you, I would claim. I'd be like, that test was fucked up. I was clean.
Yeah.
Just keep fucking with them,
It was. I was never done drugs in my life. No.
Heard it here first.
Yeah,
so you end up down this drug road, man.
Dude, I was
I
was a drug
fucking
dealer.
wild.
I was picking up drugs from Houston. It turns out that the police in Sabine County, the drug task force, had a case they were building on me for 7 years.
Jesus.
Since I was 13 or 14, my name got mentioned, and then I was like.
Well, it's not like you can hide. You were big as shit.
Yeah, I told this on Ryan Sickler's podcast, but literally one of our friends got arrested, and he was in the sheriff's office, and they had a printout, and it was literally suspicious drug suspects in Sabine County, and
boom, Dakota Price.
It was listed 1 through 15, and all my homies were on there. My name was 6th. My aunt's, all these.
Everyone.
I was just I guess. Okay, cool. But he snapped it with like his Razor phone and like sent it to us back then. But
shit.
So I just had this like secret criminal lifestyle that I was doing like without my parents knowing. Like my mom kind of knew.
Now, how old? Like up until like what age are you doing this?
From 14 to. I mean, I went to college and I was like, I'm getting away from all that and getting sober off meth.
So it gets into early adult years.
Yeah,
like 18, 19, 20.
The big thing that really spun my addiction, because like I was like really into hallucinogens and pain pills and stuff, but like not like it was like a problem. It wasn't like every day, but I was doing it.
Just fun.
Doing it a lot, you know, triple C's, you know, Robitussin.
What do they say? It's not a problem until after 30.
Yeah.
That's just kind of sad.
Yeah, it's like, ooh.
I liked getting fucked up. It's how I coped with my problems. Daily weed, smoking packs of cigarettes,
I get it, man.
you know.
I drink beer, I get it.
But I did that until I was like 19 and like 18 when I went to college. I the year before that they took me off my Adderall prescription because I failed a drug test for my mom's drugs. Like I failed for Valium and anyway, I went to the same doctor with my mom and we both failed our drug tests for our controlled.
For each other's?
It's a real story.
It's a hell of a reverse.
Here's the crazy fucking thing. He let her fill her script, but I didn't get to fill mine. That was fucking bullshit. So it's my freshman year, first time in college. They take me off Adderall, and like, dude, I ended up meeting this dude like that was like a weed dealer, and he because I was picking up weed for my friends that I met there, and then next thing you know, he's like, "You ever smoked meth?" I was like, "Yeah, a couple of times." He's like, "You want to smoke some meth?" I was like, "Yeah," and then like I immediately relapsed, dude. I'm like back on meth again, like because like I got real bad off on meth, like when all my cousins and like I mean I was a full on fucking meth addict, like
tweaker,
hawking shit to I was literally trading fucking items for drugs. Like I would show up to a dude's garage and I would just have a trunk full of shit and like
speakers and
I'd
shit.
be like, how much can I get? I was like, how much can I get for this? And he'd throw some on the scale. He'd be like, that'd be all right. I'd be at these crazy tweaker parties. Like I'd be up for like 7 days. You know, I was a fucking menace, dude. And all trying to hide this from like the loved ones close to me. And I thought I was like doing good. And then like my brother was like, I won't be your brother anymore. And I was like, ah.
Yeah.
And then I got and then I got sober. And then I went to college. And then I got not sober for a while. And then that really fucked me up. And then I failed out of. I like had to drop out of college.
Where'd you go to college at?
Stephen F. Austin.
Okay,
That's how I ended up in Nacogdoches, and I met my friends there. That was like, and moved to New Mexico for a while. Moved to Houston. Started working for Booker T. You know, all this time like, not even thinking about what the fuck I wanted to do.
Yeah,
you
just
know?
buying time. Man.
But like, you know, I got to meet and talk to Ralphie May like when I was in high school. Like my teacher, my camera guy, his mom. Yeah. She was best friends with Ralphie May, and she introduced me to him. I got to talk to him on the phone. He would call me. Like, I talked to him at like not long before he fucking died.
Shannon knew.
Ralphie
May?
Yeah.
Really?
They went on cruises together. Like, yeah.
Fucking small world. Jesus,
yeah, dude, and that was my dude. Like, he made a video. I have it on my Facebook, and he like gave me a shout out. Him and my brother for like doing theater and stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
dude, that's awesome.
It was super awesome, man. And like, so like. I would talk to him, and I had his stand-up memorized. I had stand-up memorized. I had all these bits just fucking memorized my whole life. And, you know, I was always trying to do rap. I was a rapper. I was in punk bands.
What was your rap name?
Superbad.
Superbad.
Yeah.
Right on.
Spelled with a $sign.
Fuck you.
Yeah, still to this day, bro. There's a whole group of people that know me as Superbad, bro. Like, I could rap battle. I rap battled Mitchell Musso from fucking Hannah, Montana. That's a real fact. Mitchell Musso, if you're watching this, you can always try and get me again, but you ain't getting me, bro. I got you the first time, and but anyway, I was a rapper. Then I did the whole punk thing when my son was being born. But you know, like. Going to jail is where I really learned like how to hold court.
Right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but even gods had to piss sometimes, right? So, but dude, all right, we gotta. Even a god can piss.
Yeah, it rained earlier, dude. God was pissing right on me, dude. I put it in my mouth. I was like,
golden shower.
Dude, we gotta pick up right where we left off, man. I don't want to forget it because this is where your story, everything takes a turn, dude, and it gets interesting for Dakota Price, man. Like, so you. Jail. Yeah. You tell the story about your time in jail, man.
Well, the whole, like all that leading up to it, you know, like left college, came back to college, worked for Booker T for a minute, and then like I had left the lifestyle of like dealing drugs and like trading drugs, and like I was like I wouldn't even like you know help no one out because before you know I was staying at my parents' house while they were gone, you know, and I was like selling shit like, and then my friends convinced me. They're like, hey man, like move. Come stay with us in Nacogdoches. Come stay on our couch. And I did that. I just stayed on the couch and like, I didn't do anything. No, I was not criming. I was just living with my homies, trying to get a job, you know. Like I still didn't have a driver's license at this point. I got in trouble for driving without a license because all I had was like a permit. I never fucking got a license. I got a a permit, and then they sent me a driver's license that said driver's license, but it had a restriction on it. And that restriction was I couldn't drive without a fucking passenger 21 light. Yeah. So I was driving around without a license for fucking years, dude. And unregistered cars sometimes, you know, like. And I got a ticket for driving without a license finally from a state trooper when I went home to visit my parents one time. Yeah. And it'd been weeks after that. I'm dating this girl, fucking, you know, I'm smoking a lot of pot, you know, not really.
Yeah, but that doesn't count, man.
Yeah,
that's just more like a weird spice in your cabinet.
I'm just not going. I'm not going anywhere. I'm like bumming fucking money off my parents sometimes, you know. Like I was just not being
just turning the wheels.
Yeah, just turning the wheels, bro. Just being a fucking like. I was living on my friend's couch. Like they were just letting me stay there because I cleaned their house, you know. But like they're my homies. They're still my brothers to this day. You know, shout out Zuka Sharks.
Well, I think it's kind of crazy, man, because you see like I see a lot of people like younger generation now, man. Because like Moses and I are both 34.
Yeah.
And, you know, we see, like, guys, because we both go to college still, we see guys, you know, 18 to 25 typically. And it's a lot of people, man, just turning those fucking wheels.
Yeah, dude. Man. And I did it for a long time.
Everyone's real busy with
But they're not even, like... Granted, a lot of your shit was negative, but at least you still got those life experiences.
Yeah.
Like, we see a lot of people that have never had any experience of, like, whether it be good or bad.
I mean, I got to meet K Reno. I got to see a Free Zero concert. Like, dude, I know Booker T personally. I know his family. I know his fucking kids and his nephews. Like, I'd fucking... That was cool. Like that, I mean, I was on drugs then, but you know, I got to
fucking whatever.
You know? But you know, I was cleaning up, staying on my buddy's couch, and I was dating this girl, and I called back. I knew a person that worked in the courthouse there in Sabine County, and I knew I had that ticket, and I was just gonna check on it. I knew I probably had a warrant, and so I called on it, and I was like, hey, do I have a warrant for that driving without a license? She was like, yes. But also, you have a secret indictment for delivery of marijuana.
Oh.
And I was like, what? And she was like, we're looking for you. They kicked in your door the other day.
Did
like
your fucking heart fall out of your ass?
I'm just sitting there high on the couch just trying to check in on a ticket. And they're like, we're looking for you actively.
So click.
So and I was like, well, what? I told like, you know, this is a person that I know. I was like, what do I do about this? And she's like, call the judge. And I've seen the judge several times. I mean, at this point, I'd done probation 2 or 3 different times. Like, I had been in trouble.
They knew you on a first name basis.
Yeah. Right. So, like, but I was really great at probation. I was so great. I mean, I did my one-act play on probation. I had to go on school trips and have my teachers sign papers because I was on fucking probation my senior year.
Like saying you were actually at these locations?
Yeah, like to do overnight, like, one-act, the UIL, dude. But here's the, like,
you had to be the only kid with that situation.
Yeah. Like,
giving back to the community.
I had, on my senior trip, I had to get permission from my probation officer. Like, and, dude, I had one last bender the night before and like showed up late wearing a jumpsuit, like fucking.
Did he just get out of fucking jail?
Crazy shit, dude. Just anyway, like that was school for me, and then anyway, that time that I was living at my dad's house, you know, like a friend of mine got caught selling weed. He got not selling weed, got caught with some weed, and he was about to go to college, and like he turned informant on 4 people. Like, including, like, his own family. I won't say his name to protect his fucking anonymity because I can't retaliate him in any way. I'm not even supposed to know who it is, but I know who it is because I got to watch the footage back.
You gonna tell me off camera?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you, dude. Fuck that guy. So this is a year prior to the moment that I'm calling on the phone, right? So I got friend came over. Hey, can I buy 7 grams of bud from you? And I wasn't really selling big time. I just had like a little bit of weed, you know, like I was selling to smoke basically, you know, like, and
it's a quarter an ounce. It's not a big deal.
Sold him 7 grams for $100. You know,
damn, you made some money on it.
Well, wait up. What year was this?
2016. 2017.
Yeah. You made your money.
Hey man, it was some fire shit, bro. $10
It
a
always
gram
is.
minimum, you know. But I had to do it for 15 on a gram. Sorry, dog.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I got bills just like everybody else.
Yeah, no, whatever, dude. Probably, you know, this is my just desserts for being a fucking drug dealer, taking advantage of white boys.
I mean, yeah, you know, white dudes really kids don't know anything.
It's whatever.
Most of the time.
But so he came over to buy weed from me, and he had this fucking flashlight. That it was a keychain flashlight, and he was like fucking shining it on me, and like I was just stoned, rolling a blunt, like fucking cool flashlight. I had music playing, you know, and then anyway, he set his keys down with that flashlight while I fucking weighed his shit up, and that was an audio video recorder. The flashlight was. The cop was waiting down the road, gave him the setup and the money, $100 bill, to give to me.
Damn.
And got all of that, but I knew. My cousin came home early and tipped me off there was a cop down the road, so I didn't let them leave. I made them sit there for hours.
Yeah.
Until that cop had to leave.
Mm.
I would have taken a shit, took a nap.
Yeah.
I would have
And then I was gone.
Like whatever I had to do, man.
Whatever, you know. But I wasn't thinking nothing of it. I didn't think they were connected to him.
Yeah.
In any way. I just knew that cops down the road. I'm, you know, being watched out. And they played it cool enough to fucking. I didn't raise any hairs. So a year later, I knew it was that moment, you know, thinking back on it. Like, I was like, that was the only weird...
That fucking flashlight.
Isn't it crazy how people, like humans, you can get those, like, fucking spidey senses?
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of times, you're fucking right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was like a year later, I call about that, and that's what it was. You know, they had me at 3 pieces of evidence. The money, the drugs, the video. That's all you need.
Dude, like, what, dead rights? Like, it's just like, there's no way out
Closed
of
book,
this.
yeah. But that's,
Jesus.
like, they had... After I got to open my case and look at everything, it's like they had me so close so many times before.
Did
Like,
that scare you when you went back and read that shit?
like there were some
like-
times that I was like they were right. Like, and those were all moments that I was like, funny feeling. Let's handle bit, you know, whatever. So
Dude.
my spidey senses kept me out of trouble for 7 years. But I'm telling you right now, like the moral of the story is like the best thing that ever happened to me was actually going to jail after that. You know, like after. So I called the judge, and I told him, like I was like, hey man, what are we gonna do about this? He said, well, we're looking for you. I was like, I know. What are we gonna do about this?
I've talked where are you calling from, buddy?
I've talked to. Well, he did ask. He said, "Where are you?" I was like, "You know, I'm not going to tell you that."
This is where we
shout out to
disagree.
Roger Gay, the coolest judge, man. Like, really, whatever. He was a great guy. He
Moses, we got that remote for that sign.
but did you turn the fucking sign off, man? Is it? No, I'm kidding.
I just noticed it, man. Whatever, fuck it, we should roll with it.
But
But anyway, man, so the judges, you're talking to the judge.
I
on the phone,
talked to the
man.
judge on the phone, and I was like, "Well, what are we going to do about this?" And he was like, "Well, when can you come in?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Well,
Because if you do actually, from my experience and like people I've known, if you actually just try to cooperate and like work with them, like they will work with you.
yeah."
Like they don't want to waste all the money and time like sending people out to hunt your ass down
Yeah.
and shit.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna come and turn myself in. And he was like, when can you do it? And I was like, Friday. And he's like, all right. So what we're gonna do is, you come with a bondsman. You already call a bondsman. Tell him to come with you. We'll set your bond in there. You'll never see a cell. We'll get your court date. I was like, Gucci gang.
So he like, yeah. He just promised like you're never gonna see a jail cell.
All right. So I go. I do my thing. Go with my dad, bondsman.
Yeah.
Bond out $500. All right. He
Easy.
tells me I'm arraigned, yada yada yada. We'll have court date. And that's just state court, county court. Cool.
Yeah, not a big deal.
Cool.
You know, same shit you go to.
It's for
you
a
get
state
speeding
it's
ticket.
for a state jail felony. Is what it was a Class A misdemeanor, delivery of marijuana with remuneration under $100.
Yeah.
It's a Class A misdemeanor.
The
Still a
fact
misdemeanor.
That you had that memorized
Yeah.
and could rattle that off so quickly,
Yeah.
and you were ready to continue the conversation before my brain even processed what you just
Class
said.
A misdemeanor
blows my
for
mind.
delivery of marijuana with remuneration under a quarter ounce for less than $100.
Which tells me you spend a lot of time reviewing this shit.
I'm a jailhouse lawyer now, dude. No, so I turned all that, court date set, bam, cool, we're Gucci.
Yeah.
I'm going to get probation again. Let's go. I know it. I know I'm going to get probation again. I'm fucking giddy. I get this new girlfriend, fucking dumb bitch. No offense to her. If you're watching, honestly, if you're watching, fuck you.
Fuck you,
You stole my car, my phone, all my fucking money. You dumb fucking hoe.
Just
Anyway.
grab the mic and just be screaming
Fucking
into
you
it,
stupid.
dude.
Anyway. Her mom's came to some of my comedy shows, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
Damn.
whatever. That's cool.
At least her mom likes
She
you.
bought a ticket.
yeah, no shit, right?
But anyway, fucking go to court. Mr. Price, we've seen you here several times before. Can you do probation again and stay out of trouble for 1 year? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sign your papers. Cool. Sign my fucking papers. And a week later, I'm hanging out with that girl. And let's go meet your mom. Let's go visit your family. And I was like, all right, let's go to Hemphill. Let's go visit my family. And I drive my piece of shit car down there.
Well, something I'm thinking about is like when you hear your name like at a young age with Mr. in front of it, like, you know, Mr. Wartooth, Mr. Allen.
Did
know,
you ever
you're
seen
fucking
Your
trouble.
Name versus the state of Texas?
Yeah,
Like, Dakota Price versus the state of Texas. How do you plead? Yeah, dude. Like, it's so. I've been in that courthouse. Like, I mean, I stood in front of the whole court. I'll do probation, no problem. Y'all know me.
Yeah,
We're good.
Yeah,
We're good. I'll stay out of trouble this time.
Yeah. So your girlfriend or whatever is just like, hey,
Let's go visit your family.
go
And I was like,
see
yeah,
your
let's
family.
bring some dabs. My mom wants to buy some dabs. I'll bring her some dabs, dude. Like, and I had a fucking dab rig in my trunk. I had dabs on me. And
So when you're saying dabs, you're talking like actual like THC.
yeah, THC dabs,
So
like
you're
like
talking
wax.
like-
This
Yeah,
is
the
like
wax.
2018. I had wax, like, you know, like I had.
Hey
really-
man, I don't smoke weed. I'm just
Dude,
trying to get a fucking.
dude, I had fucking.
In 2018 if you had wax, you were
It
people
was
were looking up to
BHO,
you.
dude. Fucking badass, fucking dark, you know. Fucking. Anyway, it's pressed in between some wax paper,
Yes,
you know.
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I took the bong I had was a big ass red stag, like Jim Beam bottle, with a fucking big ass titanium banger, and I had a blowtorch in my trunk and everything, like.
The full setup.
Full setup, dude. I took it down. Me just being a dumbass, being like I'm
Yeah.
immortal, bro. They ain't gonna. I got a couple weeks to
Yeah.
smoke before I gotta take my drug test. You know, they let you fail the first one. I know all the rules. You know, like cocky. You know, I'm fucking. At this point, I'm 20. About to turn 21.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, so you know everything in the world.
Yeah.
You're untouchable.
I just turned 21, right around 21, you know, and I fucking coming back after I left my mom's house that night. I made it 5 miles down the road from my parents' shop. They lit me up, and Milam pulled me over, and I was like, "I'm going to jail tonight, babe." Talking to my girl,
Yeah.
and she's freaking out. I'm about to go to jail because I don't got a license. This car is not registered.
I knew where this is
I don't even know where the insurance is. He has a dog in that car. I'm just gonna tell him where everything is. I'm fucked. I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
That's the conversation. Had a cigarette lit.
This is my last one for a
Yeah,
while.
had a fucking cigarette lit. And he comes up to the window. Fucking London, Officer London. I'll never forget that motherfucker, bro. Comes up to the window. Fucking license registration. I was like, all right. And he was like, well, you know why I pulled you over? I was like, I know why.
Yeah.
And he was like, I have the K9 unit. Can we search your vehicle? I was like, you don't even have to. I'll
Yeah,
show
don't
you
waste
where
your
it
time.
is. I'll show you where it is.
Like the gig is up, man.
Yeah.
You know?
He was like, all right. And I fucking opened up the trunk. And they were being a dick. Him and this new rookie. They were just being a fucking dick.
Damn, even with you being cool about everything? Dude, what
And,
a fucking asshole.
He was being a cool dick, but a dick. Anyway,
Yeah.
fucking opened up the trunk and was taking shit out of the trunk. I showed him where everything was. And he got to the dabs. And some of it got on his finger. The wax.
Yeah.
And he was like, is this gonna get me high? You know, if this gets me high, that's another. And next thing you know, I'm already in cuffs, dude. He fucking, bam, slams me on the ground, pushes my face into the concrete.
I'd be like,
I'd be like,
chemistry-
you're the one that touched it, man.
Yeah, I'd
That's
be like,
not my
chemistry
fault."
101. Don't touch shit you don't know what it
Yeah,
is, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Like,
Dude, I told him, no, you're fine, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
His rookie calmed him down, fucking all that bullshit. I'm getting off my girlfriend's freaking the fuck out. She's kind of autistic.
I'm going to assume white chick.
Yeah, white chick,
Yes.
tattoos, fat as hell.
Yep. Bingo. Just saying, it's a thing.
Yeah, dude.
Anyway.
She had finger tattoos. Anyway, she's freaking out. And I was like, it's all me. Everything's mine. She knows about it.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know. So I'm going to jail, bro. Like, fucking, I convinced them to drop her off at my mom's house right there, like, right down the road. So they did. They fucking put us both in the back. Me in cuffs, her not in cuffs. Fucking, she gets out at my parents' house. You know, she goes back to my house with my car the next day. But anyway, fucking, on the way there, they were like, you interested in helping yourself, boy?
Oh, fuck me. So you got the patrol guy. Like, you
Yeah.
got these guys. Oh, dude.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you know what I mean. I was like, fuck you.
You just tell
this
me
is
to
my
bag-
one. This is my one gangster moment in life, dude.
You just don't need a bag of
Fuck
shit.
you, dude. Like, fuck you. You want me to snitch? How do you think I ended up in trouble in the first place? Someone snitched on me. Hey, fuck you, dude. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't like that. But they're a little rough with me and getting me in there. But once I got in there, I was crying. I was a mess, dude.
Yeah, sure. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still a kid, man.
The first time in my life,
fucks up.
I sat there. They had to call my teacher, but Shannon. She's the only person that would answer the phone to get them to calm me down.
Yeah.
And as soon as I talked to her, they're like, she's like, you're gonna go in that cell, and they're gonna close the door. Like, are you gonna be okay? And I was like, fuck, I guess I have to be.
Yeah, you don't have a fucking choice.
And I'm stoned to the bone, still. I mean, I was ripping dabs, like, not even fucking 45 minutes earlier. I'm high as fuck, dude. Like,
not even on this fucking planet right now.
getting fingerprinted and everything, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
You're thinking, I'm going to wake up, and this shit's going to all be a bad dream.
Yeah.
It's all going to go away.
And then they put me in my cell. The funniest thing, the jailer that booked me in that night is my friend DeQuaylin's uncle, and like...
I mean, small town, man.
Yeah, it's these people I know. And then they put me back in there, the holding cell, the single cell, overnight. Yeah. And all that it is a concrete slab with a pad, a toilet, and a sink. Fucking, and it's smaller than this room. It's, cold, fucking, still in my fucking civvies, my real clothes,
You get a blanket and a pillow?
Huh?
You get a blanket and a pillow?
Yeah, a blanket and a pillow, thick ass, like uncomfortable, scratchy ass blanket.
Wool, probably.
Yeah, wool down here, yeah.
Sounds like they intentionally try to make it as miserable as fucking
Yeah, they
possible.
want to scare you.
Yeah, the next morning, I woke up to my fucking, I slept hard. Like,
yeah. I mean, after ripping dabs all night and driving around the city, I'm sure you
after crying myself to sleep like a bitch, dude. Like, they can hear you through the vents, the other people in the other cells. They can hear you, dude. They hear me just... fucking shit. What the fuck is going on, man? Yeah, they woke me up with my probation officer and one of the jailers in the morning. Piss in this cup. I was like, dude, I have to shit. I have to shit right now. And so they're like, well, shit and piss at the same time, basically.
I can't do that. So I fuck with it, dude.
I legit had to sit there with a probation officer and fucking a jailer in there while I was shitting diarrhea into this fucking toilet and pissing in a cup.
Piss cup.
I'm crying. I'm crying.
You're just leaking out of every orifice.
It was crazy, dude. And then he's like, you failed. I was like, I know!
Give me some dignity, goddammit.
I know. And then...
Holy shit, dude.
So
Fuck, dude, the image of that in my mind is like, that is hilarious.
So
I mean, at the time, terrifying.
So
hilarious
at this point, they know from my mental health history, they know I'm a suicide risk, all these things, whatever.
Sure.
So they run me through this whole thing, like, okay, you have a court date set for revoking your probation. Mm-hmm. You also have felony court set for the possession of a controlled substance.
Start the Rolodex of court cases.
Yeah. So so you will first be sentenced for your felony, and then you will come back and you will be sentenced for your state, my misdemeanor charge. I don't know if it was vice versa. I can't remember how that was actually set up now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, the point is, ladies and gentlemen, it comes down to a money scheme.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
So, like,
100%.
Scheme,
at this point,
money.
I was just in limbo until they had my court date set.
For sure.
Yeah. And then if I could bond out. Like, that was a big thing. Like, was I going to be able to bond out?
Yeah.
And
I'm
first
sure
time in jail, I don't know nothing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm calling, using my free phone calls and shit, like fucking. But they put me in a cell with all old people. They put me in the geriatric cell. There's all old people and one Mexican dude that that's on waiting to get deported. Like, shout out Fabian Falcon. I don't know if you made it back, but shout out Fabian Falcon, dude. I want that brick from the wall you said you would bring me, you bitch. But they put me in
a lot of dominoes in there, dude. That's all I'm saying.
They put me in the old people cell. I did good. I figured out my routine. I was in there for about 2 weeks, and then they let me bond out. My brother came and bonded me out. Like, he's not even my real brother. He's my adopted brother. We just were best friends in high school.
This is the one that basically already cut you off and said he was done with you.
Yeah. Well, we were good after I got sober. Like,
okay.
I sobered up because of him. Like, when he said that, I'll be done with, that's when I sobered up. Okay. And then I relapsed twice and then never relapsed again. So I'm 7 years clean off drugs. At the point I was arrested, I had been like 2 years clean off of all hard drugs. Like, I was just doing weed.
God, ain't that a bitch? That's
so I was like straightening my life out, dude.
It's
like,
always
but I'm now almost 8 years sober off of all hard drugs.
Damn.
You know,
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, like still drink.
Fuck yeah,
You
man.
know, whatever. But so bonded out, and I was like, I'm free. I'm out.
Yeah.
I got out, and I was out for a week and a half until my court date. And my brother took me to my court date for it was the revoking of probation court date, is what that was.
Yeah.
Is what it was. Is this the state one, the county one, and I went to the county courthouse and I was like, we're good, probation. I was like, it's happening.
Like, I've done this before.
It's
I
happening.
know how this turns out.
It's fucking happening right now. And then I get in there, and my brother's waiting for me. I go in the actual sentence, and it's not like court. You're not sitting around with everybody. This is just you're gonna get sentenced.
Yeah, you are the minority in that room.
Yeah, it's me and one other guy, the district attorney.
Yeah, dude.
Me and him, and that's where he goes over the
Yeah.
evidence of my cases and everything. Like he literally explained the whole me getting arrested, how it revoked my probation, went over, showed me the footage. That's when I got to go through all my case stuffs. This is when, all of it. And he was
What do
like,
they call it, discovery?
yeah. And he was like, all right, they want to give you 3 to 5 years.
Okay, so at I feel like fucking vomiting.
Oh, bro, 3 to 5 years? I was like, years?
Like with a Y. I started spelling
I started
it.
spazzing. I cried. They let me bring my brother in,
Yeah,
be
dude,
there.
because you're gonna have especially at that age, man. You're gonna
Yeah,
have
you
a
can't
fucking
even
break.
think that
I was
far
21.
ahead.
21.
Like, that seems like a fucking lifetime.
And they're 3 to 5 years, and then I was like, I'll do drug counseling. I was like, I'll do anything.
I'll
Yeah.
suck your.
I'll suck your dick
Anything,
right now.
man.
I never didn't snitch, didn't cooperate with anything like that. But fucking through the sheer power of bro, help. I got it talked down with the time served from me being in county during that little period. I think it was 2 to 3 weeks. I can't remember how long.
Yeah, but
it
don't
was.
they give you extra?
They gave me
credits,
they gave me
forever?
2 for 1.
2 for
they gave
1,
me
yeah.
time served, and then they also they sentenced me to, I think it was we talked it down to 2 years. 2 years, but they gave me all that time served. They gave me 2 for 1,
Yeah.
which every day would count as 2 days.
Yeah, for sure.
So they were like, you'll be out in 1 year.
Because I've always heard it that's good, man. Because I've always heard it from people that I've known that have been to prison. They were like, if you know you're going to prison, you want to stay in county as long as humanly possible.
All right, so
Because they owe you extra time typically.
here's where it gets crazy. This is just for revoking my probation, not even.
Oh, so this is just for the one
not even-
charge.
So, but here's the thing. So,
God, I thought it was
so
everything.
we talk it down.
Seconds.
We talk it down to
Totally
where
lost.
it's this is the first time I ever had to plead guilty on a fucking charge. I had to plead guilty, and it was 1 year. That was the date. They were like, I was like, when do I come back and then go to jail? They were like, no,
Starts now.
starts now. You're leaving here with a police officer and going across the street to the jail. And I was like, oh, and that's what text everybody. Hey, I'm
By the way.
Cole. Tell everybody. Tell my brother to tell everybody this for me. And I guess I'm going to jail for a year.
Yeah, dude.
And then so I went to jail that
They
day.
marched your ass out straight to the jail, dude.
Yeah, a couple of people I knew who were with me. It was old friends, old buddies. And then that's when they put me in the big cell.
Was there other people that were arrested with you that got way more time?
Oh, dude, there's some people that were not arrested with me, but there's some friends of mine that are doing bids, and some people I was in there with that were during that same group with me. There was a guy that he did, I think he went and did 7. He just got out last year.
Damn.
Jesus Christ, man.
But yeah, they moved me into the big cell, which was all the ruffians, all the young cats.
Yeah.
I walked in, they were playing spades.
That's when you know it's a
People
party.
standing
dude.
up on the table, bro. I was
Oh, yeah.
all right. And then I had to embrace jail. I was like, okay, I have a year. I have another court date in 2 weeks. See what fucking happens. And all my jailhouse, that's 2 weeks of jailhouse lawyering, going over paperwork with people, being like, what do you think they're going to do, bro?
Yeah.
Oh, and the very first visitation, my parents and my sister showed up and were like, bye, we're going on a trip across the country.
They're like, I kind of need you right now.
Yeah, no.
It'd be cool if you hung out.
No, they were like, nope, we're going. They went to the Grand Canyon, and my mom was sending me letters from all over the country. I still have those letters, but they just took off. The only person that visited me was Shannon. She visited me every time she could.
She's a nice lady.
But yeah, dude. And then I went to that second court date, and my dad was actually on the same docket. We had the same court date. He was supposed to be there that day, but he had his lawyer there because he got caught felon in possession of a firearm, but it all got thrown out because the cop that did it turned out to be like a molester.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he was like this girl literally he suggested to get out of a ticket she could like suck his dick, so she did, but she held the cum in her mouth and drove all the way to the fucking police station.
Holy shit!
And fucking
that's kind of a gangster.
That's
move.
4D chess, man.
That's
how I love thinking.
Holy
anyway,
shit.
he got busted. So
Well,
fuck that cop.
For the guys listening,
Boyd, fuck you, bitch. You're in jail now.
might want to fucking reevaluate things. This thing seemed like a good idea.
He was on the same felony court docket for me, and so much and so that they said Michael Price, and then no one said anything, and they're like, Dakota Price, where's your dad? I was like, his lawyer's here, and his lawyer's like, yeah, right here. Anyway,
dude, I would have lost my fucking marbles in that place, dude.
They appointed me a lawyer, and I had been arguing with the DA. Me and the DA went back and forth for a hot minute.
Sure.
It was a state jail felony, is what it is. Minimum 5 years, minimum 5 fucking years in state jail, which is worse than federal, federal, and also worse than state prison. It's state jail is you have to do 90% of your time. There's no getting out early. They're the worst prisons. They're the roughest prisons. It's literally.
So you're just staring down this fucking barrel.
I'm about to go do 5 on top. I'm gonna do a year in county and then go do 5.
Yeah,
is what I was thinking this whole time. It's I'm gonna do a year in county and then go do 5 years in fucking state. And that's what I was thinking. But after arguing with this DA...
Dude, is there just a point where you just almost want to give up? You're just fuck it.
It was hard, man. I had a good cellmate that was very good to me. He kept me straight. He did a lot of time in the pen over some bullshit. He ended up getting all of his shit thrown out, all of his time. He got the court case of the century. The state had to pay him back for unlawfully putting him in prison for 3 years. I was there in the fucking visitation with his mom when she was like, how do you want your steak cooked tonight? He'd been in prison for fucking...
Son, you lucky motherfucker. Hanging up your shit.
Yeah, I'm sitting there crying with him, dude.
Dude, for sure.
Anyway, what happened, I went to felony court, and they ran my stuff concurrent. So I would do 5 years felony probation when I get out of jail, concurrent with my county probation.
Yes.
So I would do both my probations simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
I will have twice a month check-ins, drug test, all the shit for 5 years, and I had to pay $2,600. No, it was 70. It was altogether I think $8,000 by the end of it. To the state of Texas. And I had to serve my year in jail. So I did a full year in Sabine County Jail, and I got out a year later, and did my probation. I stayed on my brother's couch when I got out, and then got my own place back at my friend's house that let me sleep on the couch. I ended up renting a room from them before I went, and they kept my room open for me when I got back. So I got my room back eventually, and about 6 months after I got out of jail, I met my baby mama, we got together, and we basically just started living together right off rip. And then 9 months after that, I had my son, found out that I was having my son,
Jeez, man.
It's
a fast-moving world for you,
yeah,
dude.
So it's I'm not even a year out of jail, I just served a year, and I'm not even a year out, and I find out I'm having a kid. At this point, it's really hard for me to get a job,
Kind of
a bum just using her car, I'm just trying my best. I was trying to do music,
just anything and everything.
Getting gigs, but, I'm not paying bills, I wasn't being I didn't get a job until 3 months after my son was born. And it was to the point where her family was fucking, what the fuck? And I was I don't know.
I'm trying. Yeah. The system just says go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I mean, every excuse in the book, but I wasn't doing as good as I could have been. Sure. And I ended up getting a job at that the vapor shop. Shout out to the vapor shop.
Yeah, we need to talk about those guys because they support your shows and all
dude,
that stuff too, man.
That big building that they have there on East Main, I'd been going to the vapor shop because I quit cigarettes because my son. I didn't want to smoke cigarettes. I couldn't hold a baby and smoke cigarettes. Mm-hmm. So I started vaping, and I started going to this vape shop. And it used to be off on the Loop there in Nacogdoches, and I'd go there all the time. And one day, he was talking about he's got this the owner's I got this new building. No one wants to fucking help me renovate it. And blah, blah, blah. I was like, dude, I'll help you right now. I was like, I can't pay you much. It was during COVID, because I had my son in January 2020.
Oh, perfect timing.
Yeah.
Perfect fucking timing.
Right. So I get out of jail, and then a year later, a pandemic. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Like,
Thanks,
which made
China.
probation super easy because I didn't have to go in person to probation for fucking 2 years.
Oh, just over like Zoom or something?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Dude.
Silver lining.
Yeah, dude, no shit.
I probably would have not made it through probation if it was not have been Zoom. But anyway, I was doing my best. I was being a dad, and I started working for him. And then I helped him literally build that store from the ground up for a while. Like, he was just paying me in vape juice and a couple bucks when he could, and he'd give me lunch, and we'd, and as soon as it opened, he hired me as a cashier, and then eventually I was a manager, and then 3 years later, I've been running this fucking store with him, and me and my baby mama split up, and like, that's when. Here we are. We're at the very ending. How did I get into comedy, guys? The way in at the very end. During COVID, like everybody, I was stuck at fucking home. I was stuck at home with a baby. I would go from home to work. Work was right down the street. I could walk to work. So I would literally be at home. Oh, my mom also died in 2020. That was another thing that really fucking, that was the big one. That's what made, you want to test a relationship, have your mom die,
you're preaching to the choir there, man.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom died 10 years ago, car accident.
Yeah, so my mom had a heart attack at 45, dude.
Yeah.
Unexpected.
You never know. You never know.
I woke up from a nap, and, my cousin was calling me and was like, hey, your mom's heart stopped? I was like, what?
I literally had just gotten off work, just walked to the house, took off, my coat that I was wearing to work at the time, and phone rang, and it was my childhood best friend. And he was like, I am so sorry. And you know how they all found out? Fucking Facebook.
That's rough.
Yeah, dude, because I wasn't technically her next of kin.
Mm-hmm.
It was my dad.
Yeah.
So once he was notified and all that stuff, then they published it on Facebook, all this other stuff. Everybody was sharing it. It had been going around for a couple hours before I even found out.
Damn, that's rough, bro.
Dude, it was.
I hate to hear that. As a fellow mama's boy, dude, that fucked me up.
Yeah.
And I'm stuck in home, the whole her dying thing and their funeral during COVID.
Yep.
Dude. They wouldn't even let my dad in the hospital room while she's hooked up to machines and shit because COVID and stuff.
Dog, you want to see felony assault?
Yeah.
Let me be in his
Dude,
position.
I had to Zoom call my mom in a fucking she was in a fucking coma.
dude.
Fucking, and then I was there when we fucking we pulled the plug on my mom, dude. And after that I was fucking not okay.
I get it.
I want to tell it I love my baby mama. I still love her to this day. We were great. I have no fucking ill feelings for her. I just never recovered from losing my mom, and I have every excuse in the book. I could have done so much more.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't capable, and we put our relationship to the limit, and then I split up with her.
Well, it really something like that, man. Something so traumatic, it really tests you as a human.
Mm-hmm.
And and it took me years to piece myself together, man, because when my mom passed away, there was just so much history, and it was just a lot at the time. And and I was married at the time, and ended up a few years later getting divorced. And as I get older and look back, I realized that a lot of my issues stemmed from my mother's death, feeling like it was unfair, all these just the rabbit hole.
Your mom's still alive?
She is.
Gay. She's great. She's awesome. And
lucky.
But you ask her.
I wasn't gonna rub it in. I'm
Losers. But you ask all these questions, man, and that have no answers.
Yeah.
Because the only person that can give you an answer is gone.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
dude.
When I realized that I was okay with it was when I could joke about it.
Yeah, dude. Honestly.
And that's when it just clicked to me, and I said, okay, I accept it for what it is.
I tell jokes about my mom on stage. It's so cathartic to me. But during that whole time, I've started obsessing over podcasts, Two Bears, One Cave, and Your Mom's House. As I started delving back into stand-up, I rewatched all the Bill Hicks. I watched all the Carlin, the Pryor. I started watching stand-up, and this is when Kill Tony started getting popped off, and I was just I started just getting. I was and I knew Ralphie, and I've been a performer, and
it's the universe is trying to draw you in a direction.
Yeah, and I'd always I loved being on stage, bands, rapper. Dude, I loved it. And I never really ever even thought about stand-up until, I was watching these podcasts, and they, I had insight on it. And it's they would talk about stand-up, and I was, finding myself, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear about, the behind-the-scenes of stand-up.
Yeah, how does this really work, man?
And then
what's really going on?
I did an open mic at Macklemore's like a music open mic.
Yeah, so
like,
for those of you who don't know, Macklemore's is it's a restaurant that has like a little venue out in Nacogdoches County or Nacogdoches, Texas, a little small one college town, man. Yeah, like I mean, that's for lack of better words, what it is. I mean,
I bombed for fucking 10 minutes straight, dude.
Jesus.
No, it was actually I had a couple of laughs, but it was my friends in the audience, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I still have that recording. I have it. I can send it to you.
Yeah, I got a couple that I wish I could just burn that I've done over the years.
That was the first time I did that, and you know, I'm going through this separation with my baby mama and living alone, and I move in with her sister's ex-husband. Like, we're both divorcees of the family. And, like, we're living together, and I'm like getting my kid every other day, and I'm working.
So it's kind of like it's your quasi like brother-in-law.
Yeah, and yeah, and then
it's an excellent sitcom dynamic.
It really is.
I found love at the vapor shop because B, she started working there, and we kind of didn't like each other for like the first 2 years we worked together. Like,
really?
Yeah, we were friends, but we didn't like each other.
You like each other. Yeah, you can tell. You didn't.
She was trying to fix things with her, her ex-husband and stuff too,
sure.
and like, but whatever, we like, it just started happening. Me and her started hanging out, and then like we kind of fell for each other, and we had this whole thing, and then I had a falling out with my boss at the vapor shop. We're cool now. Like, I just was being dramatic, and I needed a rapid change in my life, and I was like, I need to do stand-up. I want to do stand-up, blah, 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 blah. And my brother lived in San Francisco at the time, and he was like, come live with me. They were like, come live with me, and I was like, okay.
Give it a shot here, man, California.
And
let's do it.
You don't gotta pay rent until you get a job. And I was like, okay. And I
never
fucking
get a job. Got it.
Right.
Just go.
I had to leave B. Me and her weren't ready to have like a live together relationship, and I couldn't live at that place I was living with my brother-in-law. And it was just this whole like.
You just knew there was something there, but it just wasn't. You just weren't ready, man.
Yeah, and I left to San Francisco. I left my son here. And that was super hard. That was crazy.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't imagine, bro.
San Francisco, I ended up doing like 300 comedy shows in a year. I did Cobb's Comedy Club. I worked at a dispensary lounge. I lived the coolest fucking...
You did 300 shows in a year?
Yeah, right, about 300 shows. Like
you doing stand-up?
Yeah. I was doing like 3 shows a night, 4 nights a week, like fucking, like...
Hustling.
Whether it be open mics or actual shows, I was doing like at least... At minimum, I say 300. That's probably me exaggerating a little bit, maybe. But
but even if you're like 10% off, dog, that's
minimum, like I was doing it 5 days a week, like at least one show a night, 5 days a week.
Jeez, man, that is a lot. Dude.
Yeah, like but sometimes 2 to 3, 4 shows in a night. Going from San Francisco to Oakland, from Oakland to Berkeley, from Berkeley back to Sacramento, I mean, just all in the Bay Area doing these shows. I met Hella Funny, #Hella Funny, shout out #Hella Funny. Stroy Moyd owns the first ever black-owned comedy club in San Francisco. Nice. He's a opener for Chappelle. Like, he's a great human being. Shout out to everybody from Mutiny Radio, even Pam Benjamin. I love you and you're crazy. Honestly, like San Francisco I hit the ground running and like got a job selling weed, comedy. I was doing all the time. I worked at a comedy.
Sounds like the California way, dude.
I lived in the fucking coolest place, like right by Pier 39. Like, I mean, like I know
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I got to walk to work through Chinatown. Like I had like a fucking library I went to, Cool. I country boy living in the city for the first time.
Blowing your fucking mind.
Long distance relationship with, B, we went through our trifles and tribulations there, and fucking, like, it was great. Like, she came and visited me. I made it back. I visited my son 4 or 5 times, like in a year, like, multiple days, and not just like here for a day and then gone. Like, I made sure I made it to birthday, made it to, Halloween, all that shit.
Good shit, dude.
Like, I was there, like.
So you were like in the trenches and juggling everything back home still.
Yeah, had to make enough money to buy plane tickets and fucking take time off and, still do
shit, dude.
It was crazy. And
so what?
But like, I fell in love with comedy doing it there.
Yeah, once you get the bug, once you really experience, it's like the best art form there is.
And then to bring it full circle, move back after spending 1 year there, couldn't handle it no more. Missed home, missed B, I wanted family.
Yeah.
So be back with my kids. But and I also got tired of the way the comedy scene is. It's very gatekeepy, very like inclusive, exclusive. Like it's like there's a lot of like you have to kiss up to people. You have to play. It's just like a weird fucking Fallout game of factions and like dialogue choices you have to make to advance in the world of comedy. You know, you got to be in the right place, at the right time, and talk to the right people and hope they like you. And that's like, you know, like bottom line, I think you just need to be funny. But like, you know, that only gets you so far. And like, as much as I do love comedy, there is a scene, and
there's tribes.
There are tribes, and like, you know, I'm cool with everybody. That's how I've always been. I want to be in all the cliques, you know.
Same here, man.
But I didn't like the way comedy was working there, so like, I wanted to do it at my own pace too. Like 300 shows in a year, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's overload, man.
Yeah. So I mean. Coming back to East Texas,
on stage.
I was like, I got to create my own stage time. I did that Yellow Rose Rose City Comedy in Tyler. Got banned from there, so I was like, I'm complete.
You're banned from Rose City?
I'm banned from Rose City Comedy. Okay.
Can we talk about what happened? Or
I just wouldn't follow the rules, and I was very disrespectful to the owner. You know what? I was being a dickhead. I will admit it. If you want me back there, I'll come back. But I was being a dickhead in a group chat, just trying to fucking be, you know, like. He did try and censor comics and give us a list of what we can and can't say. Ooh. And, you know, I did go on stage and say all of the things we can't say. I
immediately did the exact opposite.
I crushed, but, you know, I was being a shit, you know, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Your actions do have consequences, especially when it comes to tribes, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I just...
I've always felt like those places, man, that censor people like that aren't destined to last very long, man.
Yeah. They're doing very good right now. You know, I'll give Rose City some props. You got some great comics and talent going through there. Great shows.
I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. I've never been there. I'm not saying they're bad.
I won't talk bad about the club itself, but me and the owner.
Yeah. I just don't like the idea of comics being censored.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't like
it kind of goes against what it is.
Yeah.
I would think.
Like,
and honestly, I don't know the extent to how he's doing it now. But at the time, it was like, whatever. Yeah. But I didn't like that, so... Small price productions. Make your own company, make your own stage time. I'm bringing big productions to a small town near you for a small price, dude.
Easy. Let's do it. Hey, link in the description. Check it out. Anyway.
Fucking nerds. That was a good way to wrap it up. If y'all want to...
you tell a story about small price productions, we'll call it good, man. Because we do have to get out of here in a minute.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I appreciate you guys for the time. I know I just kept rambling. I barely heard you talk at all, Moses.
That's the entire point.
I feel bad that Moses was over here just like, the whole time. But you seem like a cool guy that I could be tripping on, like something, and just sit next to you and be like, let me tell you about my childhood, dude. You know how I told you my dad got buried alive, you know? I like to imagine that was me. Like, I couldn't have made it.
I'll remember that, and I'll give you some insight.
You know, I actually think it would be fun as fuck to get my dad in here on a podcast.
Sure.
I will totally bring my dad in here.
Dude, we would love to have him. Awesome.
Like, I would love to have him sit down. We would love to talk to him.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
But fucking Dumpster Diaries Podcast, fucking goddamn another fucking card game. The Vapor Shop at 1017 East Main in Nacogdoches.
Boom.
Small Price Productions. James Baxter 23 on Instagram. That's me. I'm James Baxter. If you don't know who that is, that's the steed of joy that brings like joy to the world while standing on a beach ball saying James Baxter.
All these links are going to be in the description below too, guys. So just check them out, man. But I think it's about time to wrap it up, dude.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up.
All right. Hey, Dakota, thanks for coming on the show, man. We appreciate it, brother. And guys, thanks for watching this. See you next time.
Later, dudes.
Cool.